All across America and around the world, this is Veterans Radio. This is Veterans Radio.
Good day. I'm Jim Fausone. I'm the officer of the deck today here on Veterans Radio, and thanks for joining us. We've got some interesting stories for you. We always want to remind you you can find more about Veterans Radio at its Facebook site or at the web, veteransradio.org, where we're on the web 24/7. You can find a lot of our podcasts there as well. We post new ones every Tuesday, so you can get a new story, a new interview, something you didn't know before by going to veteransradio.org. And before we get started, we want to thank our sponsors. First up, we want to thank Legal Help for Veterans. Legal Help for Veterans fights for veterans' disability rights all across the nation. You can reach them at 800-693-4800 or on the web at legalhelpforveterans.com. We just want to remind you that Veterans Radio podcasts are available on all your favorite streaming platforms, including RSS.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Rees Across America Radio. So wherever you are, you can find us, whether it's on your mobile phone or your computer or your laptop, your tablet. But listen in to Veterans Radio Podcasts. We post something new every week, and you're going to find it informative. We want to welcome to Veterans Radio today Lawrence Miller, U.S. Marine Recon, but we're going to talk about one of his businesses and activity he's got coming up. Lawrence, welcome to Veterans Radio.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
How did a nice kid like you end up in the Marines?
It's a great question. I think we all ask ourselves as we get older, what made us do that?
What was I thinking, right? Yeah.
I played hockey my entire, it was a part of my childhood, and there came a point where I was pretty good. I had a few different opportunities, and I got to an age where I just wanted to push myself mentally and physically and kind of see, who I was made of as a man, both mentally and physically. And I chose to go the U.S. reconnaissance route. So,
well, it's a multi-step process, right? You just got to get into the Marine Corps, get yourself through basic training, and then get yourself into a recon position. So tell us a little bit about that journey.
Well, actually, I was contract recon. So how I was set up was I had to go through the boot camp, SOI, and graduate at all those levels. And if I didn't graduate from reconnaissance school, then I would be put back to 0311 infantry.
And you participated, you were in the Marines, if you will, I think I saw from 07 to 2011?
Yes, sir.
And tell us a little bit about your military experiences.
The best way to sum that up is I love my job. I love the teams, and I was, it definitely pushes you to another level to see how to operate, the camaraderie that you build, with your teammates who, come from all over the country, the different tasks, the different, just the levels of training and operational standpoints and the standards you need to be at to be in the teams.
So you got through all that, and then your contract period, I think about 4 years ran out, and did you have a specific plan of where you were going next, or what are you going to do next? What was the transitional process?
I just ended back home here in Michigan, and I really didn't have a plan. I didn't have a plan. So I had some injuries I had to deal with, some stuff that I incurred while I was serving. So I guess that began that process on how to address those and figure out, how to move forward with my life.
somewhere along the line you said, I think I'm going to start a business and I'm going to use some of the profits to help veterans. That's not like what everybody thinks of doing when they get out, right? It's hard enough making the transition. Business enterprises are tough to start. Talk to us a little bit about what your mindset was and that startup process to be a business owner rather than a Recon Marine.
I guess that's where it really started about 2 years ago. I went through, really probably the darkest periods of my time. And, that's when I originated it. I did last year over Memorial Day. I trekked 200 miles in 12 days, West Coast to East Coast, from St. Joe to Royal Oaks annual Memorial Day parade, just bringing awareness towards veteran isolation and crisis issues. One of the hardest factors for veterans is to admit that they need help. And when they do admit they need help, it's used against you legally or professionally. You get labeled and stereotyped as this crazy ex-military guy, or there's ramifications if you're going through a divorce where, your kids are used against you because you served in the U.S. military. So there's a whole nother complexities of things where veterans have to address, and you have no idea how to comprehend those or who to go to based upon, your service being used against you. So after that, on Memorial Day, I decided to found Trek for Vets Coffee on the premise that conversation happens over a good cup of coffee, where some of the proceeds go to regenerative medicine treatments for veterans and their families, and also standing up a veteran crisis response team. So there's two components of it. And we're a service disabled veteran-owned small business. But the first prong is a regenerative medicine standpoint. I've been sober for 10 years, haven't taken a pill, and the biggest part of that is providers wanting to shove pills down your throat or whatever it may be, and you become a zombie, and individually you're like, this isn't me. There has to be another way. So we've partnered with a regenerative medicine clinic in Boulder, Colorado called Dynamic Athlete. It's the only regenerative medicine clinic in the country that can treat a male or female from head to toe, with therapies such as stem cells, PRP, shockwave, EMTT, ExoMind, which repairs the left lobe of the brain on a cellular level to help with TBIs, PTSD, and trauma, and then MCELA. And the doctor who we've partnered with is the only dual sport Team USA hockey and U.S. soccer doctor in the country. He's a key opinion leader in the regenerative medicine space. We ran 2 clinics last year in fiscal year 2025, where we treated 60 live patients, whether they be military veterans, their families, LEOs, or firefighters, and they all receive free medical treatment. This year, we're doing 4 of those. We did 1 in January, and through this time, we were able to send 5 veterans from the Metro Detroit area. They received free medical treatment. Their hotel was paid for. All their food was paid for. So with the growth, we hope to send more and more veterans, military, and their family members from the Michigan area.
Wow, that's a fantastic mission. I have to say, Lawrence, your website doesn't do you justice because it doesn't talk enough about this area of regenerative medicine. And the website is trekforvetscoffee.com, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. But this is not unusual for guys when they get out and transition. They've had some disabilities from the service, that it takes years and to kind of get back on the path they want to be. And I'm not talking a year or 2. Sometimes it takes, I often say it takes 6. It sounds like it took you kind of a number of years to get on the path. As you tell us, you're now 10 years sober and really more focused on maybe the right things. Am I reading that right?
Yeah, it took me over a decade. Yep.
And I think it's important for people to know that, whether it's family or friends or the veterans themselves. Don't give up on the guy. It's going to take a while, and many people, it takes that 6 to 10 years. I mean, it just is.
Absolutely. And I think when you come back, you're used to a team, and you come back to the civilian sector, and you almost become a solo operator, and life happens. You get married or have kids, go divorce, different jobs, but you're constantly looking for that trust and bond that you had while you were serving. And that's not easy to replicate here, just based upon human nature. So it takes you a long time to figure those things out and who to seek to, mentors to find, friends, camaraderie, people you can trust. And that's the biggest thing, is finding a tribe and a community where you can trust and go and seek out guidance and help.
Well, and I hear this from a lot of vets. We've been doing this for 20 years. We've talked to a lot of guys with this issue of like, I feel isolated because I came back home. Maybe it's rural, maybe it's a state that doesn't have a lot of active duty or no active duty bases, and you really miss that team. And you were a guy who came out of hockey teams. Teams was really at the core of what you were looking for, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've always been a team guy, whether I was playing hockey or I was, in a 6-man team, and then coming back. And I've shared this multiple times. It's a point where you have that team aspect where that team elevates you to be a better human being, a better operator, a better husband, a better father. But also, you can lean on that team when you're not at your best, because you know that they have your back. And
they can call you out when you're being a dumbass, right? Yeah. I'm looking for a word I can use on 100%. The air. But and that's important. I think we all need that, to sometimes be called out and say, hey, you're better than this. You can do better.
Absolutely.
So let's go back to this idea of, okay, I've been out for quite a while now. I'm going to start a small business. Small businesses are not easy to start. Talk to us about that.
No, they're not. And especially in the service disabled area. It's more about the mission, task, and purpose. Sharing, conversation through a good cup of coffee. It's about opening up those lines of communication and being able to create those conversations and connect with more people, to start that business and have a clear message of what our company is, what our mission is, what purpose we're doing in these communities, and how we're trying to help.
And you've got a great motto that I want you to repeat for our Veterans Radio audience. We're talking to Lawrence Miller, who's a Marine Recon disabled veteran. But talk to us about the motto for Truck for Vets Coffee.
Sip, serve, and support. Really 3 simple ideas. As you drink our coffee, it creates those communication channels to figure out how we can serve others, and through those conversations, how we support through that service. Just trying to keep it very simple, not trying to reinvent any wheels, and just really focusing in on veteran isolation and crisis issues, and how we can, while we're drinking coffee, serve those communities and support those families.
And Truck for Vets is a 501c3 nonprofit, I should point out, and that 20% of the net profits from every bag of coffee goes to support that nonprofit, which is supporting these various programs to help veterans in crisis and deal with the issues that a lot of vets face in transition. You've kind of taken this, let me start here. When did you start the coffee business?
I started that Labor Day of this year.
So kind of a brand new thing, and I saw it on National Veterans Business Development Council, NVBDC.org's MVO Task Force article about this, and I said, I got to talk to this guy. And that's what NVBDC does pretty well, is networking, putting people together. So are you a certified veteran-owned business?
Yes, sir. We are a service-disabled veteran-owned small business through the NVBDC.
And one of the things that you get with that is this broader network of folks who like-minded folks, and that's how we get connected here, through somebody with that arrangement. But talk about the trek that you have coming up in 2026, which is, I think I said at the outset, now it's 500 miles. What the hell were you thinking?
Well, at the end of last year's trek, I spoke at the Memorial Day ceremony here in Royal Oak, Michigan, and it was just the ability to connect with people along the way. I just wanted to do something bigger, to have more reach here in the state of Michigan. So we're doing 500 miles in 25 days and going through 100 different cities. With each day, we're going to memorialize 20 fallen warriors who sacrificed everything for our great country. And our goal here is to sell 500 cases of coffee, representing one for each mile. With along the trek, we have various checkpoints throughout the day, start points and end points. Through that, we're connecting with police chiefs and fire chiefs as well, to talk about veteran issues in their communities, how we can better assist through our development of our veteran crisis response team. And so the checkpoints will be police stations, fire stations, VFWs, American Legions, churches, and local businesses who've sponsored the trek along the route as well. So trying to do as much connection as we can through these communities, and connect with more veterans and their families and businesses along the route.
I think I saw you're going to kick off May 1st and be at Royal Oaks Memorial Day Parade at the end of the month. How much logistics goes into all of this, let alone, walking through weather and everything else?
Well, last year was just an idea of a great friend of mine. I was like, I want to go and do something and not just talk about it. There's no perfect timing. I just went and did it. And I threw it together in like 3 weeks. But at this point, doing the 500 miles in 25, I feel like a logistics manager. It's very humbling. A lot of coordination, but I feel very humbled and blessed to, being able to do this type of thing and creating, having that task and purpose. And it's a heavy schedule. I can't say anything else, but very, very lots of scheduling.
Well, and
lots of moving parts.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're really starting and walking kind of the western side of the peninsula, the lower peninsula of the state of Michigan, and then you got to cut over east to work your way back to Royal Oak. I can't quite tell on the map I'm looking at where you finally turn to the east, but you've got to have something lined up for sort of every day, every night, where you stopping and where you going next.
Yep. So kind of the main cities that we're going through are starting in St. Ignace. We're going to Mackinac Island to Mackinac City, Mackinac City to Traverse City, Traverse City to Grand Rapids, Grand Rapids to Kalamazoo, Kalamazoo to Lansing, Lansing to Chelsea, Chelsea to Milford, Milford to Northville, and Northville into Royal Oaks Annual Memorial Day Parade.
So if people are along that line, how do they keep track of you and maybe meet up with you when you're by their city?
That's a great question. So this year, we're actually going to have a live tracker on me this year so people can follow along the website. The tracker, I think it's going to update every I believe 10 to 15 minutes as we progress through our route. Everybody's enjoyed, welcome to come out and join in doing parts or meet us at checkpoints or, trek with me, whatever works best for them. So that's kind of how we can be tracked this year as we go throughout the route.
And the goal here is to raise awareness, but also raise funds for these programs that you're talking about, which is the regenerative medicine and the crisis team for veterans. And there's a way for people to sponsor at different levels, all the way down to $30, up to $1,000 of sponsorship. Talk to us a little bit about the sponsors.
Yeah, so there are 3 different tiers. Our goal, like I said, is to sell 500 cases of coffee, a tier 1 sponsorship. Where there's 4 different points of, we're going to have a Super Duty truck and a 38-foot trailer, kind of like a safety vehicle, where we're going to actually have some of the regenerative medicine technology in so I can be treated, and then where I can sleep at night, but also to serve coffee out of along these checkpoints. They can have branding on the trailer. They can do different social media posts daily, website inclusion, newsletter, and 2 cases of coffee. Our tier 2 is around the $300 mark. That's a case of coffee, and they get the social media, website, newsletter, and all that stuff. And then our 3rd tier is a $30 memorial sponsorship where a family member can submit a name and photo of a fallen warrior, and then also receive a bag of our premium Arabica coffee. So, like I said, one of the biggest things is learning through this is you can't just go out asking people for money. And that's kind of another premise why we spent months developing the perfect roast of coffee, delivering a premium product where people want to buy and enjoy and continue buying, but also supporting, our mission.
Yeah, it's one thing to write a check and then forget it. It's another every day to take out a couple of scoops and think what's behind the mission on this great coffee that I'm serving. So I like that a lot. If people are interested in learning more and maybe supporting this upcoming May trek of 500 miles, what's the best place for them to go to?
They can contact our phone number, which is 248-722-9090, or email us at miller@trekforvetscoffee.com.
And that'll get them into a spot where they can make donations or sponsorships levels, I take it?
Yes, sir. That'll create the conversation where we can have those conversations, how they want to sponsor, what they're thinking, and really curtail it to them individually.
Well, there's a lot here to like, and there's a lot in your story that brought you to this point in taking on this mission. So we want to be supportive of it and supportive of our friends at nvbdc.org and get this promoted out, which we will do. Lawrence, maybe we'll make some arrangements to talk to you along the way or catch up to you when you get more local in the Chelsea and Northville areas. So I hope you're well rested at this point. Are you taking care of your body to be able to pull this off?
Yeah, I actually spend 2 to 3 hours a day training in rehab just to get my body ready for this. So there's been a lot of preparation for this, I might add.
Well, we're really glad that you could spend some time today with Veterans Radio, update them on what you're doing and what the Trek for Vets Coffee is all about. As I said, you can go to the website trekforvetscoffee.com. Learn more. The phone number's there, the way to get in contact with Lawrence Miller as well. Lawrence, good luck on this effort, and we hope to keep promoting it as you move along.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate your time.
And I want to thank everybody for listening to Veterans Radio today. I am Jim Fausone. It's been a pleasure to be your host. I'm a veterans disability lawyer at Legal Help for Veterans, and you can reach us at 800-693-4800 or legalhelpforveterans.com on the web. You can follow Veterans Radio on Facebook and listen to its podcasts and internet radio shows by visiting us at veteransradio.org. That's veteransradio.org. We again want to thank our National sponsors, the National Veterans Business Development Council, nvbdc.org. Legal Help for Veterans, a veterans disability law firm with a national practice before the VA, can help you on your claims and your appeals. It can be reached at legalhelpforveterans.com or 1-800-693-4800. We also want to thank our local sponsors. This would include the Charles S. Kettles chapter of the Vietnam Veterans of America, that's chapter 310, VFW Graf O'Hara Post 423, the American Legion Irwin Preskin Post 46 in Ann Arbor as well, the VA Ann Arbor Healthcare System, and certainly the National Vietnam Veterans of America Association. You can be a sponsor by going to veteransradio.org, clicking on the About Us and our sponsors, and help us out. Keep this program alive for the 21 and 22 years. Keep us going for another 20. Thank you.